Whoa, when you get started, and I'm going to lose my stand here. What's up, Facebook? Good morning. Guys, I'm going to share with you something this morning. A lot of people think this Motivational Monday or this live on Monday mornings is for motivation, and I want to share that it's quite the opposite, but I want to explain why, right? Because a lot of people think, man, I need to get fired up on Monday mornings. And that's totally fair if you need to get fired up on Monday mornings. I love to get fired up and listen to motivational YouTube videos and things that get me inspired. But I want to share with you guys something today that I learned a few years back, and one of my favorite books. It's called The Subtle Art of Not Giving an F. Right? If you guys haven't heard of this book, definitely go out and get it. It's incredible. But I'm going to explain to you a process. There's two things in here I want to share with you guys this morning. What's up? Good morning, guys. Two things I want to share with you guys this morning. Straight out of this book, right? Little book reporting this morning. The desire, check this out. The desire for positive experience itself is a negative experience. Think about this for a second. The desire for positive experience, for a more positive experience itself, is a negative experience. In other words, when we desire something, we're basically saying to ourselves, I wish, I hope, I want, right? And I'm going to explain to you why it's a problem in a second. And paradoxically, the acceptance of one's negative experience is itself a positive experience. There's a lot going on there, right? Think about that for a second. Have you ever heard the term, your mess is your message, right? The more vulnerable we can be, the more we can tell stories about how, we've gone through and accepted challenges. That's actually in itself a positive experience. Have you ever confided in somebody a story or told someone something that was really, really tough to tell and felt more empowered, right? Felt more involved, felt more connected because they listened to your story. They felt your pain. They related to you. Right? Again, this is a big part of, guys, why we're not, I try to make sure that we're not the motivational guru, right? We're setting the trend, explaining the challenges. A lot of you know we went through major challenges to get out of the single family world and get into the self-storage world. It was tough, but well worth it, right? A very, very difficult move to make, but we did it blindfolded. We did it with no experience. We did it with no mentors, no guidance. Well, very few mentors and guides. I hired mentors and hired people to help us get that training, but it was very, very tough. It was a tough trail. So many of you are listening to this have had tough experiences, tough lives, tough backgrounds, tough stories. But guess what? Sharing it is a superpower. Paradoxically, the acceptance of one's negative experience is in itself a positive experience. Try it. Try being vulnerable. You'll be amazed at the results that you get. But that's actually not 100% of why I wanted to hop on this morning and talk to you guys. See, I said at the beginning, this is not a motivational message. This is not a motivational video. I'm not here to rah-rah, hoorah, get you going, pump you up. You got gym instructors for that, right? However, one of the best takeaways from this book is Mark calls it the do something principle. And it looks like this. Most of us believe that we need to have inspiration, followed by motivation, followed by action, and then that cycle repeats itself, right? Inspiration, motivation, action, inspiration, motivation, and we get through life this way. However, Mark says, and I believe this is a superpower, folks, action creates inspiration, creates motivation. Now, how many times have you gone out blindly, tried something, and went, oh shit, I'm pretty good at this, and motivated yourself to get back in the seat and do it again? How many times have you taken a risk and said, wow, that was worth the risk? A lot of people told me I shouldn't do that, but man, I'm glad I did. Holy cow, the back end of this thing, right? The reality that I created for myself, so worth it. Now all of a sudden I'm motivating myself to go take more action and do it again. Mark calls this the do something principle. Do something. When you're scared, do something. When you're facing a major challenge, do something. When you're worried about the outcome, do something anyway. Do something to create your own inspiration, to create your own motivation. So much more rewarding, so much more empowering when you took the risk to do something. Now he says, what is something? And I taught this ironically last Thursday to my mastermind team before I picked the book up again today and read it again. He said that something can be something called your smallest viable action towards something else. What is the minimum required energy that you can release to get one step closer to your outcome? The minimum thing you can make, to do, to create, to just get the momentum going, to just push yourself that much. It can be anything, as he says in this book, anything. The minimum viable action. So the real takeaway I hope that you guys get from this today is, what small thing can I do right now, today, to make tomorrow easier, to make next year easier, to make 5 years from now easier? Because the reality of it is, these big scary things that we're afraid to take action on, they get less scary the more action we take. Isn't that ironic? Right? We start to think this insurmountable, difficult goal in front of us, and then we're like, one step, and then I wake up. Wow, I have experience in that. It's not scary anymore. I've been doing it consistently for weeks or days or months. What one step, the minimum viable action, can you take right now to create the inspiration for yourself, to create the byproduct of motivation for yourself? One small thing, one teeny 1% action. Maybe it's a phone call you have to make. Maybe it's a difficult phone call you've been putting off for a long time. Guys, it's a phone call. Nobody ever died in a phone call. No one ever gets shot at in a phone call, right? Well, I mean, theoretically, right? Not to take that action. What is the minimum viable action? Maybe I have to reach out to that mentor. Maybe I have to hire that coach. Maybe I have to finally get that nutrition program. Pull out your credit card, do it. Maybe I have to take the scary step into the jiu-jitsu studio and sign up, or take the practice class. Maybe I have to start walking around the block or run my first mile in the last 10 years. Right? What is the minimum viable action? Right? If you want to get back into running a 5K and you haven't run in 10 years, go walk around the block twice. Do it again tomorrow. Do 3 times the day after. Do 4 times the day after. Work yourself up. But take the comfortable action, the minimum viable action, the most easy thing that you can do to get yourself closer to that goal. See, far too many of us see that end goal and they go, oh man, that's overwhelming. I could never do that. I could never get to that level. Guess what? Your past is driving you. Of course, you're consistently telling yourself you're never going to get to that level. And guess what? You'll never get to the level. But where focus goes, energy flows. Right? So focus on the minimum viable action. Take action today and tomorrow and next day and next day. And you will create the motivation for yourself. Appreciate you guys. Have an amazing week.